Hi everybody, this is a quick video on why you should pull your own credit score and how to go about doing it, and then what do you do with the report once you get it. Okay, so the first thing is, why do you want to pull out your own credit report and score? So it's actually two different things. So the report itself is a detailed list of who you owe money to, the payment structure, and how often you're supposed to pay them, and if you've missed anything. Now, the other thing on this credit report is that it also says where you've lived for the past 2 years and all of your employment history. So if you've been employed by X, Y, and Z company and the dates, that will also be in your report. And the reason why companies ask for this report is that they can see how much money you owe, how often you've been late on payments, okay, and to confirm where you've worked and where you live. So the other part of this credit report or score is your actual score. This is a number ranging anywhere from like 400s or low all the way up to 900. 900 is the max number that you can get, and it's the best number that you can get. So normally anybody who is above, let's say 800 to 900, that is the best range that you can be in. And what that is an indication to whoever's going to look at your report is how responsible you've been in paying off your bills. Okay, so now some people say that a credit score or a credit report is just an indication of how much in debt you are. Okay, so it really depends on how you want to look at this. But everybody has a credit score and credit report. So even if you have nothing, like no credit cards, no phone bills, no utility bills, you still have a credit score and you still have a credit report, just maybe nothing on it. Okay, so the higher your score is an indication of how well you've paid your responsibilities back. Okay, if you've missed a bill payment, or if you're consistently late, or if your ratio of how much money you've borrowed against something to how much you have available, like on a line of credit, that will negatively affect your score. Okay, and so keep in mind the maximum you can get is 900. The best I've ever seen on any report is around 850, 880. Okay, I've seen some reports that are below 600. Okay, so which is a bad thing. So now when you go for, let's say, a mortgage, they will look at your credit score, and to be able to qualify for the best rates or the best terms, they're going to want your credit score to be above maybe 725, 750, above that, so all up to 900. So anything less than that means that either your rates will be higher or your terms, like your payment terms, will not be as favorable in your favor. Another situation where your credit score and credit report would be looked at is if you're buying a car. So buying the car and the mortgage, buying a house, are the two biggest reasons why people will pull their credit reports and credit scores. Now, also keep in mind when you get when you do a phone contract or when you get a new utility service, they often will pull your credit score and credit report, and those will also be noted in your credit report as well. Okay, so sorry, I went off there on a tangent there about credit reports and credit scores. So pulling your own credit score is a great idea because you will not get hit on your credit score, meaning that whenever a bank or a car company or a utility company, when they pull your credit score, it negatively affects your score just by a little bit. And if you have a bunch of people pulling your credit score, then that will, affect your score. So so let's say you're trying to get a loan for something, and you go to CIBC, then you go to TD, and you go to Scotia. Well, all of those three banks will pull your credit score. Okay, so that means there'll be three, negative hits against you. Whereas if you pull your own score and your report and you go to the banks, right, and you say, hey, I don't want you to pull a report, but here's my report. Can you give me an indication of how much I would be able to qualify for, what my rates would be? So you're sort of doing that pre-negotiation before they actually have to pull your report. Or like when you're buying a car, you can take your report and show it to them and say, okay, what interest rate or what terms would I be able to qualify for, and if I would qualify for a car loan. Okay, so the great thing about pulling your own credit score and credit report is that it's really, really easy. And you know, you could do it in like 10-15 minutes. Okay, so there's a couple ways of doing it. There's 2 companies in Canada that I know of that will allow you to pull your own reports, okay, and scores. So one is Equifax and one is TransUnion. You can go directly on their site and read up all about it. You do not need to sign up for their monthly program. That is an extra service that they sell you if you want to monitor your score on a monthly basis, or if there's some sort of fraud stuff going on with your account, then you might want to pay for that extra service. But if you're, you know, an average Joe Blow and there's nothing really wrong with your credit score, credit report, there's, you know, no issues, then you really don't need to pay for that monthly program. Okay, so let me share with you my screen and I will walk you through on how to pull your own report. Okay, so on my company website, cashproperty.ca, I've put a page there that you can just go and click on it without having to search all that, and that will allow you to pull your own credit score. Okay, so you just click on the image there and it will take you right to the Equifax page where that you can get your credit score and credit report. So this credit report is free, and I always recommend that once you start pulling your credit report, to pull it once a year, because the benefit of doing that then is that you will know what transactions are actually taking place sort of at a very big level. And you can sort of see if somebody has stolen your identity, if there's a credit card on there that doesn't belong to you, or if there's sort of been any, you know, like a major car purchase or something like that. Okay, so looking at it once a year would be fantastic, and you get your score. Okay, so you fill out this form, and then if you want an actual score, and the score is that number that goes up to 900. So I always recommend getting that score, because without that score, the lenders or those companies can't really give you information, okay? And that's the score that they judge you on, okay? So, and you know, it's $12 for that actual score, okay? And so once you fill out this one pager, you mail it in, okay? And it will take maybe 2 to 3 weeks at the longest to get it. And that's it. Like, it is literally that easy. So you fill it out and then you mail it to them, or like they said here, you could fax it. I've never emailed it to them. I don't even know if that's an option. Okay, and so once you get the report, it will have your score, and then it will have all the details. And the first time you see the report, it can be very like, oh my God, what am I looking at? It's like Morse code, like it's just a bunch of numbers, right? So, there are companies out there that will help you interpret the reading of that, okay? And if you have a low score, then there's strategies on ways to improve that score. Okay, so I'm just gonna stop sharing. Okay, so there's ways to improve your score, so that if you're trying to make a purchase, you know, then there's strategies to get your score up. Now, if you're thinking, okay, well, what affects my score? There's a bunch of factors, and those factors change depending on what's going on in the economy, and that is set sort of behind the scenes, and they don't really advertise how they do the calculation. Like, it's all done electronically, right? But what they will look at is how many credit cards you have, how many mortgages you have, how many car payments you have, how many utilities you have. Then they will look at how many times you've made your payments on time and how many times you've been late, okay? The other thing that will factor into your score is if you have, let's say, a credit card and you've got a $10,000 limit on it, and you are at, like, if you're carrying a balance on that, that will affect your score. Okay, now let's say you also are maintaining a high balance. So let's say on that 10,000, you are, I don't know, above 75% of your balance, right? So you owe 7,500 and you're carrying that balance month over month. Once you reach over like a certain percentage of whatever your limits are, that negatively affects you as well. So if you have a $10,000 credit card and your balance is 0, right, then your score will be a little bit better. Okay. But if you maintain a high balance and you don't pay that off, then that will negatively affect your score. So it's a bunch of factors that they consider. So it's not just, a handful, it is a lot of factors. And a couple of years ago, when they were tightening the mortgage rules, they then changed the way they rated people based on their scores. Okay. So it's a constantly changing thing, but keep in mind, it's not as bad as it appears. Like, there's always a way to fix your credit score and credit report. Okay. And so if you find something that is not right on your report, you can contact Equifax and get that resolved. And in terms of fixing your score, there's lots of strategies out there. We offer that as well. So that is how to find your score and what to do with it after. Now, one great thing that Royal Bank has done, and I don't know if the other institutions have done this or not, I haven't heard about them doing it, but what Royal Bank will allow you to do now, I'm going to share my screen with you here again. Okay. So Royal Bank on their website, so when you are a client with Royal Bank and you use their online platform to go in and get your account information, on the right-hand side of your screen, there'll be a box called My Services. And there's an option there now that they give you. It's free of charge. Okay. It acts as a soft ding against your credit report. Okay. It's called View Your Credit Score. And what they will do is then from there, it will take you to this screen here. And what RBC's platform will do is pull your score for you. Now, I've never done this, so I actually don't know if it's just a score or if it's the report or both of them. And my understanding is that this is a free service for all RBC clients, which is fantastic, because then now you don't have to even pay the $12 plus tax. Okay. And apparently it's instantaneous, from what I understand. So the next time I need to go pull my credit score, because I just found this out in the year after I already got mine, I will try this platform and then I will maybe give an update on this video. Okay, so that is how you pull your credit score and credit report, and then what you can do with it and the benefits of doing this. So like I said, I recommend doing this at least once a year. Just with so much fraud out there, it's good to have an idea of what's going on, because you are being judged by this, right? Like, think of this as your report card from high school, right? When you go to the bank or any sort of institution, in order for them to do any business with you, they will always look at your credit report and credit score. Okay, so if you have any questions, please feel free to reach me. My information will be below. And if you like the video or want to subscribe, please do so. Okay, thanks very much.